everyone about Mitt Romney, but the guy does not know how to make an entrance. The freshman senator wrote a harsh critique of the president in the Washington Post yesterday, and it is being slammed by his own party. Even his own niece, RNC Chair Ronna Romney McDaniel. She called the piece, quote, disappointing and unproductive. But perhaps it was Louisiana Senator John Kennedy who summed it up best.
For the millions of people who are better off today than they were 2 years ago, to them, his op-ed piece was about as popular as head lice.
And that's not popular at all, believe me. Romney attempted to cool the backlash by telling CNN he doesn't plan to be a daily commenter on the president, but his cry for attention has led many to believe the 2012 presidential silver medalist is thinking about another run for the gold in 2020. So if Mitt has his eyes on the White House, how badly did he bungle the rollout on a scale of 1 to Elizabeth Warren? Let's go to tonight's panel. He's an associate editor at Reason.com. Robby Soave is here. We've got radio talk show host Leslie Marshall in the middle seat, along with host of the podcast Something's Off with Andrew Heaton on the Blaze. It is Andrew Heaton, who looks oddly enough like a former HR person who used to work here.
I'm related to a guy named Bernie Macsmith. We're actually second cousins.
That's what it is. The resemblance is uncanny.
We're both very handsome.
Welcome to the panel.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
It's
Thank
great
you.
to have you.
Yeah.
So, Robby, I will start with you because I think this is always very funny. It's disingenuous for people who are either fans of the president or fans of Mitt Romney, for Mitt Romney to be going back and forth between begging for the president's money and affection and at the same time thwarting his advances.
That's true, and I understand why everyone is very sick of Mitt Romney's antics by now. That said, I will defend him a little bit here. I mean, the op-ed I thought was more, it was not as harsh as some people made it out to be. He said he agrees with a number of the things the president is doing, as do I, but he thinks that he's not the most, moral, high character person on earth, which is true, which is something most people should concede, even if you like what he's doing.
Mitt Romney made that case in 2016, and it didn't ring true for voters. I think he thought at that point that he was going to be drafted into the race, and people would beg for him to rescue the nomination from the brutish future
I just don't
president.
think everyone in the Republican coalition should have to pretend that they think Trump is Jesus Christ.
They
he
don't.
can be right about things, and sometimes it sounds like all criticism
They
of
also
Trump,
don't have to pretend that Mitt Romney is Jesus Christ.
That's true.
Because he's not, and he's trying to be a messianic figure. And I guess that's my problem with it, is his hyper-moralizing, and I'm so much better than you. And it's like, yeah, that may be, but, put it in your pipe and smoke it or something.
Romney probably won't do that.
This has to delight you, watching Republicans beat each other up.
Just a little bit. Where's the popcorn? No, Mitt Romney, you can't believe anything he says. Governor of Massachusetts, pro-choice. Oh, I'm running for president, pro-life. I hate Trump. I could be Secretary of State. Now he doesn't want to be senator
take your
of Utah.
endorsement. Please. A scratch behind the ears.
Exactly. And then he doesn't want to be senator of Utah. He wants to be president.
You think?
But obviously. So in addition to that, when the president talks about him playing nice, the GOP talks about him playing nice. How is he going to play nice? If it is all about him, and if he's been, as he has historically, so wishy-washy, I don't know what this guy's going to do. I was just saying to these two out there in the green room, this is a man who says, Obamacare? I invented Obamacare. I started it in Massachusetts. Well, jump on board and now vote to dismantle it with the rest of us.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's doing this now. At least pretend you like the job.
What is a Romney Republican?
A Romney Republican is a country club Republican, because the Republican Party is really 5 parties, and he's the head of the country club guys, who I kind of like. I kind of get that vibe.
They're not really pro-liberty, the country club guys, by and large.
No, but I like them temperamentally, and I think that's the thing that he was mostly pushing for. I think Robby accurately assessed that he had a problem with Trump's character, but agreed with some of his policies, which I read that as well. I didn't think that it was that harsh. I thought it was like looking at the president of the Homeowners Association take a swing at P.T. Barnum. It's going to be a very different fight watching those two pan out over the next couple of years.
Those caged lions, they must be set free.
I think this is actually a brilliant time-saving maneuver on Romney's part. I think that now, the next time Trump wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning and threatens to maim Rosie O'Donnell on Twitter or something like that, Romney can go, I'm not answering questions. I already wrote this op-ed, see the op-ed, and then he can go back to his day.
Oh, that's very exciting. Well, we have much more with the panel. The president has said the new divided Congress could lead to a, quote, beautiful bipartisan type situation. Hot. So could the president and the 116th Congress work some liberty magic together, or will they just act like bickering statists? The panel is back. Robby, Leslie, and Andrew. Heaton, I will start with you. What is the most important thing for the president to tackle if he wants to have success with both parties?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with legalizing marijuana. I think that is something that the vast majority of Americans want, and that's something where it's worse than heroin right now, according to the federal government.
The way it's scheduled, yeah.
Yeah, we could fix that. And there are lots of other things too. I was reading up on this. Ben Carson and Elizabeth Warren both agree on certain housing policies where if you want to get a block grant as a state, you have to relax your zoning regulations. Or the other one, I think everybody agrees that high-skilled workers are good coming into the country, that immigration's fantastic if you're a high-skilled worker, so they could probably make some moves that way.
There is more consensus than both sides let on, but there's so much othering and so much fighting. Is the pro-liberty tack the best one for the president?
No.
Why?
Because I just...
Because you hate liberty?
I live in California. We have legalized pot. No, I love freedom and I love liberty. But if you look at what people came out and voted for, that's not what they voted for. And two areas that I think Democrats and Republicans can work together, they can pass, it becomes a win for both sides and for the president, is infrastructure.
Not a win for the deficit.
And we need it. And two, trade. I mean, he was hard on China. A lot of Democrats are saying, what happened to all your campaign promises with China? Currency manipulation hasn't even touched that one. So I think those are two areas.
Bigger deficit means more debt. That means less freedom. And the economic isolationism also very anti-freedom. It's very anti-free market. Robby.
There's more to do on criminal justice reform. More people, we could do more laws to resentence so that people who have no business still being in jail and it costs so much money to keep them there, we can release more of those people. Also, in terms of the troops we have all around the world, Trump has expressed, I think nobly, the idea that we should get some of our people out of places like Syria and Afghanistan, but we have troops, the Korean Peninsula, in Europe, in Japan, all over the place.
We've got bases all over the world.
Right.
That are very expensive.
Imposing our, ideals on people. This is something that Trump's instincts have been against, that have been, I think, very good, and that many in the Democratic coalition agree that we shouldn't be doing this kind of nation building.
Yeah.
Love to see consensus.
Yeah, and I think that's a really smart move. And I think you can take a rational look at the way we spend money in the military, and it's not thumbing your nose at withholding the necessary support from warriors and from veterans. But what it does is it takes a responsible look at how we defend ourselves and not imposing that on parts of the world that are frankly capable of defending themselves.
Sending our troops into areas of the world with no plan or no reason for them to be there is not respecting them, right? That's actually disrespecting them.
Yeah.
And I think Trump actually does understand that.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that's why he's more popular with veterans than many in the media would let you believe.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, the military's typically and historically leans right. They support more so the policies of a Republican commander-in-chief than a Democrat commander-in-chief.
Yeah, typically.
Didn't Ron Paul do very well with veterans when he was running?
He did, and you know who else did? Gary Johnson.
Yeah.
Because he was like,
want to be sent off
what is Aleppo? And they're like, yeah, that's right, someplace I don't want to go.
I think they often feel taken for granted by people who say, nope, we're just going to send more of you to another war, and it's not well thought out, and you'll be there forever.
You're a block. Your lives don't matter. It's all about a political win. You're absolutely right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Andrew Heaton, welcome aboard. Leslie Marshall, great to see you. Robby, Soave, always.